Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. Today's video is a tool haul video. That's where I look at several different things all in one video, not full-blown reviews. I hit the highlights and the main features, like what's the purpose of the tool, how much does it cost, where can you pick it up. That way, if any of these end up being a good fit for you, you'll have all that information. Now, I put all these together because the company sent me out all these products for free. I did not buy these, so for that reason, I am marking it paid promotion, but I'm not being paid by any of them. Like, I'm not receiving a check from Klein or Sigman to make this video, but I did get these items for free, so that's why I'm marking it that way, and I like to let you guys know that. But again, I'm going to share the features of all these. I'll put links in the description. There's possibly discount codes. Sometimes I get discount codes after the fact, like after I post the videos. One of these companies will email me and say, hey, here's a discount code if you want to put it in the description. So before you go buy any of these, if they end up being a good fit, you might want to go and make sure and check out the description as well. I'm going to share with you my thoughts on them, and then hopefully you can make the decision if any of them are a good fit for you. But let's go ahead and jump into this tool haul. So first up, we have some clamps from Klein Tools. These are the speed clamps, clamps with a K. I see what you're doing there, Klein. This is the 12-inch 2-pack. Part number is 47551. That's these right here. Now, these kind of tools are essential no matter what brand it is that you get. If you work alone, I end up using these all the time as an extra set of hands. Like right here on my garage that I'm working on, I was putting up some 6-inch, 12-foot long. Actually, they were 16-foot long PVC boards. Without those right there, I would not have been able to hold those up and get those nailed up working by myself. So sometimes tools like this are essential. They have all sorts of offerings in this. Again, this is a 150-pound set, 12 inches. They also have some 300-pound ones that are like a little bit beefier, all those things. Here's a 6-inch one, 47555. And then they have multiple options. They all range about $10 to $15 a clamp, depending upon what poundage, what length, all those kinds of things. Like here is a 6-inch two-piece set of 150 pounders. Part number is 47550. Here is a very nice universal set. This is probably the one that most people would want to buy. Part number is 47552. Comes with two 6-inch and two of the 12-inch of the 150 pounds. So that's a very nice set right there. And then they even have super long ones. Like here is a 24-inch 300-pound one along with a 12-inch one as well. All sorts of offerings in different sizes, different combinations. They all work exactly the same. They all have the same features that I'm about to show you here in just a minute on those. But again, they have all different options, different pricings, different ones. Just depends on which set that you get, what poundage. Again, I'll put links to these in the description. I'll probably also put them in my Klein Tools that I own in my Amazon store. But that's the offerings that they have. Let me go ahead and show you some of the features on the clamps. So most people are going to think, what's the big deal? It's just a clamp, but sometimes clamps have unique features on them. Klein has one here that's a little different than anything I've ever seen, and that's like I've got a Jorgensen set where I can take two of them, smaller ones, take them apart, put them together, make a bigger one. I've not seen that on other clamps. So Klein has some stuff going on here that's kind of unique, and then they got some stuff that's just nice features just in general. So yes, it is a clamp where I can just squeeze this, come together, hold two objects together, but it also easily converts into a spreader. You can see the push button there. I just push this in, slide this off, come over here, push this in, slide it on, and now it's not just a clamp, but I can put a piece of something here, and then spread those two things apart by pulling the trigger. You can do that on all sorts of clamps. It's not like this is unique to Klein, but some clamps out there that are in that box store type space, they have that screw still here. Like here's a screw and a nut, and then you have to take that apart, take it over here, screw that back on. That takes a little bit of time. Klein has basically just said, hey, let's make it easy, a push button. I really like that aspect of it. So one of the unique things that Klein has is you can see this swivels. It's kind of got some room to go in and out, where most of the time, almost all my other clamps are kind of fixed like this. There's really no changing it. I'm not real sure yet. I haven't ran into anything where I'm like, oh, that is a game changer. But sometimes, especially if you're spreading something, you might not have something that's exactly straight. That might come into play more on the spreading than the clamping. But sometimes you might have one object that's 90 and another object that's a little bit askew. Maybe that's going to be very beneficial. I'm not exactly sure yet, but time's going to tell. I haven't ran into any crazy situations. So again, whether you're spreading something, whether you're clamping it together, you just have a little bit of movement with these in case something's not exactly 100% parallel with one another. Maybe that's going to be a very unique and nice feature that Klein has added onto here. And then the last feature is, I haven't seen this on a lot of clamps. I've seen clamps that do one or the other. I haven't really seen one that does both. But here you can also take these off, and all these clamps again come with all these features. Let me spread this apart. This just slides off. This slides off. And they come with these to work with round stock. They just slide over top of here. You'll see this kind of click. And then I can take I got some 1/2-inch conduit here. Put that around my clamp. So maybe I need to hold some round stock. You now have the option with these clamps as well. And again, these come included in the packaging with the clamps. It's not just an add-on or something like that. So if you're somebody who goes back and forth between flat stock and round stock, that might be the big reason why you might would want to try out some of these Klein clamps. Overall, coming in at like 10 to 15 bucks. Again, depends on if you're buying the 150 or the 300. The easy switch is nice. The flexibility we'll have to see over time, but the flat stock and round stock, that's kind of a big deal in my opinion. Overall, they're pretty nice. I'd like to see what your guys' opinions are. I've watched a lot of videos on these. I didn't see them for sale yet, so I wasn't sure what the pricing was to kind of make up my mind if they were a good value. Now that I see them at $10 to $15, I think that they're pretty nice at that price range. But maybe some of you have picked them up since there's been several videos out there. I'm curious to get your guys' feedback if you've been using them. Again, I've only used them on a couple jobs here around my garage, kind of as an extra set of hands. They worked out perfectly for that, as most clamps would anyways, but I like them. And thanks to Klein, all these are something that I received here recently. So up next, I had something sent to me by RovyVon. This is the U4 Pro Plus titanium carabiner. It's not just a carabiner though. This comes in at $30. You can see here, it's also kind of a multi-toolish type thing as far as a carabiner goes, because inside this package, you're also going to get 5 extra blades for something that I'll show you on the tool itself. But this is how it came packaged, was just inside something like this. Here is the carabiner itself. You can see U4 Pro Plus and then that titanium label. So again, in a sense, it is a titanium carabiner. Very nice locking mechanism right here. It's got a lot of heavy duty spring to it. Like, I don't think you're going to lose anything off of it. So you can put your keys on here, whatever you want to use that for, or maybe you've got some bit holders. Like here's the Klein. You could slide that on there because sometimes these come with some pretty chintzy carabiners. There's the Milwaukee. Here's a railer. You know, make yourself a bit rail. Use this to kind of upgrade your carabiner. They're not going to come off of there. They also slide around. And then if you want to take them off, again, you just come up here, pull that back, slide these off. Very nice carabiner. Like the aspect of it just being a carabiner is super nice. $30. I don't know if you want to spend that on a carabiner, even though it's titanium, but that's not where it stops. You have this button right here. You press that in. You can pull out this ruler. You can see that's a ruler, but it's also a precision driver as well. So right here you have a, I think it's a Phillips 0 if I remember right. I don't know if I can get that in the, it's very small writing, like PH0, and then also a slotted 3.5. That's held in there. There's a small magnet down there. You'll kind of see it snap maybe. There you go. So if you go over to the Phillips, it's not really super comfortable in your hand to use as a screwdriver, but it's definitely doable if you're not carrying anything else. Like here's a Phillips 0. I could come in here to this fluke meter and take this screw out. It's not like comfortable as using a screwdriver by any chance, but it's also something that you might be carrying on you when you're not carrying a screwdriver, and you can get pretty decent leverage by putting your thumb right there in that spot. So it is also a mini precision driver or screwdriver. But then if we go over here to the other side as well, and you can't open both up at the same time, so I have to close the driver, press in on that button on the other side, and that's where you're going to expose the knife. You can see that blade right there. And again, they give you extra blades in order to change that out. That's the blades that are inside this package right here. They pop on and off. There's like a little kind of holder right there in the middle. And if you have something like you want to open up your Sour Patch Kids or whatever, maybe this seal right here. Sometimes I bought these and I couldn't open this seal to save my life. And you don't have anything else on you. You could take this, slide it in there, slide that up, get in there to your Sour Patch Kids. So again, it's kind of a carabiner. Use it as your keychain. It's made out of titanium. Use it as your bit holder, but it's also giving you that small precision driver and then also a knife. Now, I don't know if you can buy these blades like after you run through your 5. You know, I don't know how easy it is to get a hold of these blades. I didn't check to see if they're available to purchase, you know, separately or anything like that. There is the logo on that side as well, just so you can see kind of both sides. But the RovyVon U4 Pro Plus titanium carabiner / multi-tool, I guess if you want to call it that. Something else that was sent to me, I think I saw this over at Last Best Tool. Doc had a video on it as well, and I thought it was pretty intriguing then. So whenever they asked me if they could send it, I was kind of wanting to check it out myself. But thank you, RovyVon, for sending that out. That's something else that I received here recently. So up next, I have a headlamp that was sent to me by Mossy. It is the Mossio rechargeable dual power headlamp with motion sensor. Part number is M025011. This is going to run you about $23 on Amazon. The main reason why I wanted this one was because it said dual power headlamp. That's good for a couple reasons. One is it comes with a battery pack that is rechargeable inside, so you can continue to charge it over and over. You're not constantly buying batteries and things like that. But the problem is if it's not dual power and all you have is an internal battery, you're using a light or something, it goes dead. You have to recharge it. You can't keep using it until you recharge it, so you don't have a light at that point. Well, with this one, you could take out the battery pack, charge it, throw in some AAA batteries, and keep working. So you can charge it just USB-C. It does come with a USB-C cable in the box. You pull back this flap. You don't have to open it up. You're basically recharging that battery pack. Or I can press this button right here, open up the back side. There is that battery pack that's removable. I can pull this out now, charge this USB-C, set that to the side, have that charging, and then throw in some AAA batteries. You can kind of see the layout there. I'm going to throw these in just to show you that it does work with some AAA batteries. I've got that in now. I'm going to press the power button. You're going to see that light come on. Now, it does have a little bit different run time based upon if you're using, and also some lumens on certain settings. If you're using the battery pack or if you're using AAA batteries, I'm going to put this up there. You can pause and zoom in. So the top is for using that lithium ion battery, and then the bottom is using that dry battery, or changing out to the AAAs like what I have here. So there's all your settings and the runtime and all that kind of stuff. You can pause, zoom in, and check that out. But I'm going to go ahead and take these AAAs back out, and we'll swap back into that battery pack, and we'll go through all the settings and the other features on the headlamp itself. So again, you have that in there. Now you can see if I power it on, it's working off of that battery pack as well. We'll cycle through. So anytime you turn it on, it's going to come on in this setting. That's kind of that more of a focused light on the highest setting of the focus light. If I sit there for any period of time and I press the button again, it's going to turn it off. But if I turn it on and then cycle, it's going to cycle through everything until it turns off. So the first setting is the highest setting of that type of light. I press it again, it's the next setting down. Press it again, it is now a spotlight. You won't be able to see that in this lighting here. And then if I press it again, I get into all the lights on as far as the maximum lumens that you can get. But obviously you're not going to be able to see much of that here in the lit up space that I'm in now. Let me go ahead and show it to you in the dark. In the dark, one thing I did notice is it is glow in the dark up here around the light. So if you drop this somewhere, you could find that in the dark. So I'm going to press the button. We're going to go with the highest setting on the spotlight first. Then we're going to press it. That's the next setting down on the spot. Now we're going to get into that floodlight. And then now we're going to get into the spotlight and the floodlight both on. So this is the highest lumen right here. Definitely enough for you to be able to see anything that you're working on in front of you. So it does put out a decent amount of light. But outside of the lighting, it also has some other great features. So you can see if I turn this light on, right now it's doing nothing as I wave my hand in front of it. But I can go up here and press this button. That's that motion sensor. I press that, it's going to turn off. Now whenever I raise my hand, it's going to come on. Lower my hand, it's going to go off, or you can do it either way. Basically, every time it senses something in front of it. I've had several headlamps with this feature that, in all honesty, just doesn't work all that great. This one's pretty much dead on 100% of the time. Doesn't matter how often I do it, how often I don't do it. This one has by far been the best motion sensor as far as on any headlamp that I've used. So if that's something you really look for, this could be very useful. So it does have that feature. Also has this mossy oak camo headband. Very stretchy, very comfortable. It is adjustable. And then it has two silicone bands going around the whole thing to kind of grip onto your head, or also a hat. So I'm going to find that to be very useful as well. And then maybe you're going to actually use this to hunt with and you want camo. That's a very nice look. It also has a tilt feature. So here it is in its normal position, or you can tilt. It's got like several different little lock-in spots where you can tilt that down, and then that's going to allow you to get that light in that direct spot down below you. Or I guess you could, turn your headlamp upside down. The writing's going to be upside down, but you could also tilt it up as well. So overall, it's got pretty decent lighting. The motion sensor is phenomenal. And then that dual power, in my opinion, the fact that I do have a rechargeable option. I'm not constantly running through batteries, but I can put in batteries in a pinch, or 2-3 years from now, I can just use this with batteries all the time. Once this battery is kind of depleted itself or it's no good anymore, it's still a useful tool. So again, I think it's a pretty good fit for 23 bucks. But the Mossy Oak dual power headlamp with motion sensor, something else that was sent to me here recently. So the last thing that was sent to me by Sigman. This is the Sigman laser distance meter, the CD80. Going to run you about $45 on Amazon, but it's actually a lot more than just a laser distance meter. That's what I would call my Inkerma here, a laser distance measurer, where I can come in here and press a button and get the distance between point A and point B, shoot it, shoots a laser, tells me that. It does that, but it's also kind of like an angle finder. Maybe you've got like a Wixie, I think is a big brand name of this, that you can use for your table saw blades. And then it's also a digital level as well. You can use it for a level, so it works out in several different cases. I've used the Sigman 3-plane lasers for quite some time now. I absolutely love those. So here is the main functions. Again, that's the idea, is those 3 tools all combined in one. This is smaller than my hand. You could easily put this in a tool bag or something like that. We're going to press and hold and turn that on. The first function there is that length setting. So I'm going to hit measure. I don't know if you can see the laser over there by my Klein thermos. Press the button and get my measurement. I was 2 foot 1 inches and 5/16. You can also go to just inches. You can go to meters. You can go into metric and all sorts of settings. I'll show you that here in just a minute. So it is a laser distance measure. I'll kind of show you the accuracy of it here. I'm not going to extend it a really long distance to check this out for accuracy, because that's very hard to film by yourself. So essentially I have my tape measure here on the edge of my workbench extended over to that Milwaukee organizer. If I get it maybe just the right angle, because that looks like 48 inches, but it's actually roughly 48 1/4 is what the distance is. So I'm going to take this, put it on the edge of my workbench, line up that laser over there with the organizer, press that button, and I'm at 4 foot 1/4 inch or 48 inches and 1/4 inch. So it's pretty accurate, at least at this distance. But that's how it works as a laser distance reader. But again, it works in multiple different ways. If I hit the function button right here, go to the left, these are all different things that you can measure. And again, you'll know if you would use these: area, volume, the Pythagorean theorem, and then also here is your angle. So this is that next feature. If I push function, it's going to give me that angle. If I push down this way, I'm going to get error. It's got to be held flat. So this would be basically the same as using a level or an angle finder like this one right here. So if I need to find an angle for something, or if I want to set this on my table saw blade, maybe I need a 15-degree angle cut, I can sit there and turn my blade until I get to exactly 15 degrees. One thing that would be nice that Sigman could improve upon with this is there's no magnets on this. Like, you can't stick this on anything metal. Most of these type gauges come with magnets, so you can stick it on a saw blade and use it. But again, you're not kind of limited to just using this on saw blades. That's what the purpose behind that one is. This one's to find any angle that you want to find. Again, it also could work as a level. If I stick that on something and I'm flat, I should be at 0.00, or if I want to be plumb, I should be at 90 degrees. So you can find an angle, you can check level, you can do all those things, or I can press function again, go to the next feature, which is level, but this is actually more of a kind of flat surface level. Let me see if I turn my camera down. You can kind of see that green ball go more towards the center. I'm going to have some lights glaring at you, but you can basically set this flat on a washing machine, whatever it is, until you get to that 0 point. Or it also does give you the X and Y value, so you can still get your angle going X and Y this way. You can see that green ball kind of move. So overall, it is a laser distance measurer. It's also an angle finder. You can use it as a small level. It's basically those 3 tools in one that all fit in the palm of your hand. If we hit function again, there's still some other features. Like this one here is one I don't know that I'd use much, but maybe you would. It's called tape. If I press that, it's essentially constantly shooting the laser out. And then as you move this or away from the target, you're essentially seeing that measurement on a tape measure type look. So that's something that might be interesting to you. I'm probably always just going to use the laser distance measure and actually get the reading. But if you're using it like that, maybe that's something that's useful. If I go here, this is actually a very nice setting. It's got indoors and it's got outdoors. So if I'm indoors, I can see this right here fairly well, but I also had a hoopar version of an angle finder that outside I couldn't read it for nothing. Like if I had the sunlight going on, there was no way that I could read that. Well, now I can swap from indoors to outdoors. It changed that background to make it easier to see. Very nice that it has that, in my opinion. Now here are some of those settings. So again, I can change from feet and inches to centimeters to millimeters to meters to just feet, and then to just inches or feet and inches. Here I can change, am I referencing off the back side of this for my measurements? Am I referencing off the top side? You can do that. It also can record some of your measurements. You can turn that sound off that you're hearing right now that's probably been annoying. You can change the auto rotate off. when it times on and off as far as the delay. And then you can also calibrate this thing. Sometimes that's a big deal. So if you know that you've got something that's flat at 0, you can go in there and calibrate that angle finder to be 100% at 0. That way you know you're kind of reading. So overall, I found it to be as accurate as far as the level wise and the digital aspect as my stability level. Every reading, like if I stick this on top of it, it's been exactly the same. You saw the measurement from the distance measure. I also did it a little farther away. Again, that's just very hard for me to film by myself. It's just as accurate as my Inkerma or my Bosch ones or anything else that I use. So it is very small and compact. It's got some very nice settings. It does a lot of things for the size. Overall, not a bad tool in my opinion. I'm going to put it to use here a little bit more. I'm going to stick this in my tool bag. Again, I like the size of it. I think it's going to fit my tool bag a little bit easier. I mean, than even just a distance measure. It's smaller than that one right there, but I'm getting kind of all these tools in one. I really like that aspect of it. So the Sigman CD80 laser distance meter, something else that was sent to me here recently. There you go, guys. There is my tool haul of all these products sent out to me. I want to thank Klein, Mossy Oak, Sigman, and also RovyVon for sending these out. Again, this is my initial impression. I haven't had these for a long period of time. It's kind of my initial thoughts, how much they cost, where you can pick them up. I am interested in your feedback. Do you feel like any of these would be useful in your line of work? If so, drop that in the comments below. Or maybe you're somebody who has actually already owned one of these for quite some time. Drop your feedback and your experience with that product in the comments below as well. You know, somebody might be looking at this headlamp. They saw what I said about it, but then if they go down to the comment section and somebody else says, I have that headlamp, I use it all the time, the battery life's amazing. You know, all that kind of feedback is very useful in the comment section, so I appreciate it when people leave comments like that. Again, don't forget to check the description for links and possibly discount codes. I don't know of any that I have right now, but there might be some down there, so you might want to check before you go purchase to save yourself a few bucks anyways. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was useful in some way. As always, you guys stay safe. Have a blessed day. I'll see you on the next video.